Welcome to Get to the Point with Larry Goins, the best 10-minute podcast in real estate investing.
Hey, this is Larry Goins, and welcome to this episode of Get to the Point, the real estate podcast that's roughly around 10 minutes long with a specific topic, so that way you don't have to worry about watching or listening to an entire webinar or registering for a webinar or anything like that. So be sure and subscribe to our podcast, where we're going to have a different topic each and every week, plus or minus a few days, by the way. If you don't know, my name is Larry Goins. I wrote the book, Getting Started in Real Estate Day Trading, as well as my latest book, HUD Homes Half Off. You can get a free copy at freehudbook.com. And today's topic on Get to the Point is about seller financing. I'm going to go over some seller financing basics today. We're going to do some other podcasts about seller financing advanced techniques, but this one is going to be all about the basics of seller financing. Sometimes people call it a seller financing, a tote the note, carry the note, owner will carry, land contract, contract for deed. All these are terms to use to describe seller financing, okay? And they could be a couple of different ways, they could be structured a couple of different ways. If you actually sell the property and sell it and deed the property to the buyer, and then you carry the note, then that really is a seller finance transaction where they own the property, but you own the paper or the note. That's the same thing a bank or mortgage company would do. If you do a land contract or a contract for deed, then you would retain ownership of the property, and you would write up a contract that says they're going to pay you X number of dollars down and X number of dollars per month for X number of months, and then after they pay you all that in full, then you will deed the property to them. The difference is you are retaining ownership of that property. Now, you can use seller financing to buy properties and to sell properties. I love selling properties with seller financing because I get long-term residual income, plus I'm not the landlord, okay? They don't have to ask me if they want to paint a room or whatever. They're responsible for upkeep of the property, but they're paying me and I am the bank. Also, it releases me from any liability, or I should say it should release me from any liability if anybody gets hurt at the property, because I'm not the owner of the property, I'm just the mortgage holder. No different than if somebody falls and gets hurt at your house, and say your mortgage is with Wells Fargo, then you will not be contacting Wells Fargo, or the person who fell at your house is not contacting Wells Fargo to sue them because they fell at your house. They're just the mortgage lender. A lot of people use seller financing for buying too, if they don't have the cash or can't qualify for a hard money loan. But now remember, if you are buying or selling with seller financing, the price is probably going to be higher. For example, I like to do a little model I call Filthy Riches, and that's where we're buying houses at $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $20,000, and then we're selling them with seller financing for, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50,000, okay? And we're making our money not only on the interest rate, but we're making our money on the spread as well. So we could charge any kind of interest rate we want, but we're making our money on the spread. So that's the way you can use it with selling a property with seller financing. But with buying a property with seller financing, if you don't have the cash or don't have private money or hard money lined up, whenever you're talking to an individual seller, one of the questions you're always going to ask is, what are you going to do with this property if you can't sell it? Well, if they say, I guess I'll rent it out, that's a great prospect for a seller finance transaction. So you always want to ask that question when you're dealing with the individual seller. What are you going to do if you can't sell the property? If they say rent it out, then hey, that's a great prospect for seller financing. Also, one of the things you want to do is ask them, what are you going to do with the money when you sell it? If they say they're just going to stick it in the bank, what are the banks paying now? 1%, maybe 1.5%. And so you always want to ask them, hey, well, have you ever thought of maybe seller financing your property? Because I'm going to probably have to go down to the bank and borrow the money, and I might pay 5, 6, 7% interest rate. If you finance the property for me, I could pay you that 5, 6, or 7% interest rate. And that way you're getting a much better return than if the bank is paying, let's say around 1.5%, and it's secured by your property. So you want to try to get seller financing whenever you can. But just realize that you're going to pay more for the property when you get seller financing. Another source is to look on eBay. You can buy properties with seller financing on eBay. There's other websites that offer properties with seller financing as well. So just take a few minutes and Google seller financing, and there's websites out there to buy and that you can promote your properties on to sell. Also, Craigslist is another good source. I'm sure you know about that. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Get to the Point. Look for future episodes to come, and be sure and subscribe to the podcast so you get notified of each and every one of them. So thanks a lot, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.